Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 6 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Aaron's 499 at Talladega Superspeedway as we are getting set for 30 laps of racing at one of the biggest beasts in all of motorsports. But before we get into everything, let's take a look at the top 10 in the point standings. While you guys may have seen the points recap, I figured why not let's talk about the top 10 in points. So after our last race at Atlanta, James Qualls leads the points by 70 points over rookie Daniel DK, leads by 105 over Carson Gum in third, 130 points back in fourth is Jay Jefferson, 185 back. It's a three-way tie for fifth between Michael Norman, Melissa Alexander, and Raphael LeDuc. And then tie for eighth in points, 200 points back, Matt McIntyre, Jessica Shelton. And then 205 points back, 10th in the standings, is Scott Groverston. But with all that said, let's take a look at the top 10 in the starting lineup for the race here today. Laney Marino is on the front row on the pole for this race, so that's an important 5 bonus points. Starting next to her is Ricky Carman in second. Row 2, we have Hannah Klein, Joey Parkhill. Row 3, Lisa Nelson, Matt McIntyre. Row 4, Artur Castanha and Jonathan Zorline. And then row 5, Raphael LeDuc and Kyle Matthews. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Aaron's 499 at Talladega.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers getting ready to come out of pit road for the pace lap here. So yeah, this is an interesting front row. Two really good friends, Laney Marino and Ricky Carman, but for two different teams. So, and actually, first time this season, all four of the Horseman Racing drivers qualified their way in. Ricky Carman, who's up here in the second spot, Hannah Klein in third, and then I see Artur Castanha back there in seventh, and then not too far behind, as I'm trying to see, in row 7, yeah, right there starting in 13th, is Raphael Fireblade. So yeah, all 4 Horseman Racing drivers made it into the race here today. But yeah, this track is going to be very fun to see as we are back to the repaved 2006 version of the track, but I found a better version with more racing, and if we get the big one, we might be in for something crazy if the big one were to occur here today. But yeah, a lot of drivers with a chip on their shoulder, either to get themselves higher in the standings or get their first career wins, or trying to get back into the top 30 in points, such is the case for quite a few veteran drivers who did make the race, like Seth Cole, Joey Parkhill, Caleb Kilburn, and especially Zachary Fitzwater. And you want to talk about bad luck this season. Really, ever since Zachary Fitzwater won the Daytona 500, he's not had a finish better than 35th since the Daytona 500, but he barely got into this race today. Maybe his luck could turn around and maybe get a good run or even another restrictor plate win, but we'll have to wait and see how all that's going to turn out when we get to racing here in just a few moments. But the pace car pulls into pit lane now, so we are getting ready for 30 laps, the most laps we've ever ran at Talladega Superspeedway in one race, and oh, it should be an exciting one, as ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity 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 go racing. close at the line, but Laney Marino not only got the 5 bonus points for getting the pole, but will get 5 bonus points for leading a lap. So that's 10 bonus points right there for that 34 car, as now Rafael Leduc has the race lead for the time being, as Rafael Leduc still been maintaining himself fairly well in the top 10 in the standings in his farewell season, but he's still hungry to get at least one more win before his career comes to an end after Atlanta in the finale later in the season. And right now, Dylan Young now has the top spot, and Dylan Young had a fantastic finish back at Atlanta this past Monday, a top 5 finish. I believe he finished 5th in that race, so he's got a little bit of momentum on his side heading into Talladega today, but Daniel Voiles led that lap, and now here comes Jay Jefferson, followed by our winner from Atlanta this past Monday, and the points leader, James Qualls. Could Qualls go for 2 wins in a row, possibly here today? As long as he can stay out of possible trouble, keep himself up here at the front, he'll have a fantastic run here at Talladega, and typically Talladega's never been James Qualls' strong suit, so he definitely wants to do the best he can to try and stay out of any problems. And right now, he's up here at the front, but he left the bottom open for Jordan Forbes to get a run down there with that big push from Michael Norman. But now Norman's like, okay, I pushed Forbes to the lead. Now it's my turn to try and get a lead run going and get those valuable bonus points. And Michael Norman, like I said, comes into this race tied for 5th in the standings, 185 back of James Qualls, which is a little over a race worth of points coming in, because remember, the minimum points you can get in a race if you finish 35th is 5 points. The maximum amount of points you can get if you started on the pole, led the most laps, then it would be 195. So yeah, Michael Norman's about a race worth of points behind the points lead coming into the race here today. But speaking of guys who made it in, Seth Cole, who... Oh, and we got a spinner! Couple cars around, Ricky Carmen and Lisa Nelson, but it doesn't look like they hit anything. Oh, a little scrape. Joey Parkhill was involved in it, just a tad, but yeah, no damage to any car, so he got away with only a 2-car spin in the back of the field, but the caution is out, and they're racing it back to the line. Riley Henry had the lead, but now Ryan Acosta has the top spot on the racetrack. But who's going to lead here at the line to take the caution? That's the big question, as drivers are looking to make the moves in order to keep themselves up front, and now William Brock is going to get a big push from Charles Belding, and William Brock will lead us under caution. Now, as long as the drivers can slow down enough and not run into one another while pacing, we should be alright. But yeah, from the looks of it, it was only a 2 to 3 car incident with 2 cars going around not hitting anything. So a minor incident to bring out the caution here for the first time at Talladega, as I'm keeping an eye on everybody back here to see if they're going to be fair to one another and get in their proper positions and not run over one another. And so far they're doing a really good job. But here comes the 3 that were involved, Parkhill, Carmen, and Nelson. It looks like they're going to be okay. So despite the caution, it looks like everybody's still going to be able to continue and contend. So we're going to take a look at the replay to find out what brought the caution out for the first time today here at the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Well, here's a look at what happened. So yeah, this was at the very back of the field, and it looks like Ricky Carmen dives low to try and make a move underneath Laney Marino. Makes it 4 wide. Now, 4 wide works at Talladega as long as you are not leaning into one another. And then it looks like Ricky Carmen's car just gets a little bit loose. Or no, it doesn't get loose. It's Dylan Poteet who gets up into the 18 and gets sandwiched between Ricky Carmen and Lisa Nelson. Both make slight contact, and they're going to slide up the track. Ricky Carmen's going to get the wall ever so slightly right there. Just a little hit. And I'm watching Joey Parkhill on the helicopter view, and it looks like Parkhill did an amazing job of wowing the car down and not hitting anybody. So fantastic driving on the part of that 77 driver of Joey Parkhill. And yeah, apart from a little kiss into the wall for Ricky Carmen, nobody made major contact into anything. But despite that little hit, I think Carmen's still going to contend for the race still. So, minor incident involving cars just kind of not giving and taking very much in the back of the field. But let's take you to the restart here at Talladega. So we're getting ready to get the 1 to go signal from the pace car here in just a moment, but yeah, no drivers out of the race after that incident. All 40 drivers still on the racetrack, still with relatively clean cars, so we'll be back to normal action here momentarily, as it is now 1 to green. So when we get back racing, it'll be 21 laps to go, still plenty of time for everybody to catch back up and get the shot at the win. But anyways, William Brock is currently your leader, second is Charles Belding, third Ryan Acosta, fourth Cody Lamas, fifth Scott Groverston, sixth is Chris Dollerton, seventh Zachary Fitzwater, eighth Carson Gum, ninth Cole Deaver, 10th Riley Henry. 11th is Caleb Kilburn, 12th is Alyssa Drayson, 13th Kyle Matthews, 14th Keith Miller Jr., 15th Charles Sanford, 16th Seth Cole, 17th Matt McIntyre, 18th Quentin Moore, 19th Artur Castanha, 20th Jessica Shelton. 21st is Hannah Klein, 22nd is Jonathan Zorline, 23rd is Dylan Potee, 24th Jesse Turner, 25th is Henry Sanford, 26th is Michael Norman, 27th Dylan Jacobs, 28th Daniel DK, 29th Jordan Forbes, 30th Rafael Leduc. Then the rest of the field, 31st, James Qualls, 32nd, Laney Marino, 33rd, Jay Jefferson, 34th, Daniel Voiles, 35th, Melissa Alexander, 36th is Raphael Fireblade, 37th, Dylan Young, 38th, Joey Parkhill, 39th, Ricky Carmen, and 40th is Lisa Nelson. But all 40 cars, pretty much no damage, anything wrong. Everybody still has an equal chance of winning this race. It's just a matter of getting in line, getting the big runs you can, proper draft partners, and so on and so forth. And so far, the big one hasn't happened yet. Knock on wood. But regardless, pace car is in the pit road. 21 laps to go when we get across the line to get this race back underway. William Brock is going to lead us to the green flag to get this race back underway, and here we go. And William Brock got a big jump on that restart. Little gap between himself and Charles Belding, but that's typically not a good thing because the suck-up is so strong with these cars at tracks like this that they can easily reel in the back bumper of the car in front of them at a high-speed track such as Talladega, Daytona, and later this season when we go to another plate track at Pensacola. And speaking of that suck-up, Charles Belding managed to get to the back bumper of the 29 and also getting that push from Cody Lamas, and now Belding leads the way here at Talladega. As the field's kind of scattered a little bit, as they're still trying to form into the big giant pack, although Lisa Nelson's kind of off by herself a little bit, but she is actually going faster than a couple of the cars in front of her, so maybe she might still reel them in, I don't know, but cars are still trying to get formed up into the giant pack that we had earlier, so it'll probably take another lap or two before they all get formed back up, as I'm still looking around to keep an eye on everybody, see if everybody's still going to be in this group. Back up at the front, Carson Gum had the lead, but now Riley Henry takes over the top spot. And Riley Henry has made every race this season except for one, and I can't quite remember off the top of my head where that track was that he missed out at. But Riley Henry comes in only 15 points behind 30th in the standings, so he's only pretty much like 3 spots on the track behind getting locked into the next race on Friday, which will be Bristol, and that's going to be an exciting race to say the least. And now I'm starting to see a few cars starting to lose the pack. Raphael Fireblade, Laney Marino, Melissa Alexander, and Lisa Nelson especially So it seems like they just did not get a very good restart, and now they're going to fall back. So they're hoping for a quick caution to come out and get caught back up into the pack and still contend. But back up here at the front, it is now Kyle Matthews with the race lead, and Kyle Matthews did not have a very good run. In fact, he crashed at Atlanta back on Monday, and he fell from 10th to 19th in the standings, so he's definitely looking to make a comeback and try and get back into the top 10 in points. And speaking of top 10 in points, here comes tied for 8th in the standings, Jessica Shelton. Shelton's had a very strong start to the season in terms of great finishes, but 2 of those non-top 10 finishes came in races where it was very disastrous, hence why she's not higher in the standings than you would think. But right now, she leads the way here at Talladega, as she's got a few contenders right there on her tail. Jordan Forbes was there, but now he's about to get passed by Rafael Leduc. Leduc with a big run to the inside, getting pushed by Quentin Moore, and now Leduc back up to the front. As we got 36 cars up here in this lead group. And then you got these 3 right here, Rafael Fireblade in the 81, Laney Marino in the 34, Melissa Alexander in the 78. That's 37th, 38th, and 39th right there. And then Lisa Nelson just by herself with no draft help at all. So she's the one most desperate for a quick caution to come out so she can get caught back up. And now Rafael Leduc about to be passed by Michael Norman, as Norman getting the push from Jay Jefferson in the 01, but now Jefferson feels it's go time to try and get a 5 bonus points for leading a lap himself. So yeah, I was looking at the interval of those 3 cars at the back of the field that are together, and they are 6.5 seconds back, at least at the moment they crossed the start-finish line. And now here comes Daniel Voiles with a big push courtesy of Dylan Jacobs right there. Now Dylan Jacobs, he's had 2 great top 5 finishes here in the first 5 races, but the other 3 races left a lot to be desired, and hence why he's not higher in the standings himself. He moved up from 25th to 14th, which was a pretty significant jump when you think about it. But I actually forgot to mention that after last week at Atlanta, the guy who made the biggest jump in the standings was Chris Dollarton. You want to talk about a massive jump. He moved up from 30th to 13th after he finished 2nd at Atlanta back on Monday in that close battle, that close finish with James Qualls. Meanwhile, Ricky Carman, who was involved in that first caution, he's back up here in the mix. Same with Joey Parkhill. Even though he wasn't involved, he got slowed up and held up because of that incident. But now he's back up here at the front of the field. And Joey Parkhill wants to get back into the top 30 in the standings as well. But here comes Jonathan Zorline, who he did not finish very well. In fact, I believe he wrecked out after Atlanta this past Monday, and he fell out of the top 10 down to 17th in the standings. And now here comes Keith Miller Jr., our winner from North Wilkesboro. Oh, and we got a hard crash. Rafael Leduc went head on into the wall. Caleb Kilburn was in it. A hard wreck. Chris Dollarton was involved a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, James Qualls got a little scrape, but I don't think that's going to affect him much. That was the quick caution those drivers at the back of the very back of the field needed. But we're coming to the line. It looks like it's going to be Artur Castanha who's going to lead at the line. Another multi-car accident. This time there was cars that were damaged that are probably going to be done for today or very much off the pace now. But Artur Castanha leads the way here under caution. As there you see all the skid marks. It took place right off of turn number 2 just a lap ago, and I saw a couple of hard hits for the 99 and the 16 in particular. But we're going to take a look and see what exactly did... Excuse me. We're going to find out what exactly did bring out the caution for the second time today here at Talladega. So here's a look at it again. So yeah, another case of 4 wide going wrong, even though, like I said, Talladega is a track where you can make 4 wide work. It's just a matter of driver etiquette, and it looks like Caleb Kilburn gets a little bit wobbly being stuck in the second middle lane, kind of bounced off of Carson Gum up into Jordan Forbes, but they saved it right there. And then it looks like Caleb gets loose again, ever so slightly touches his teammate Carson Gum, and then they're going to come back up. Carson into Dollarton, but they kept it together, with Kilburn up into the points leader James Qualls, who took a pretty good lick into the outside wall. Jessica Shelton kind of getting boxed in all that. And Jesse Turner got boxed in. But up ahead, we had a secondary incident involving Chris Dollarton and Rafael LeDuc, as I'm trying to get to the 16. There he is. So how did this occur? Oh, as Kilburn came up, not only did he get Qualls, he barely clips Rafael LeDuc, and he gets sideways and collects Dollarton, and Dollarton took a pretty hard hit into the outside wall, practically head on, but no incredible amounts of damage. So I don't know if many of these guys are going to be able to continue, or at the very least be up to speed. I feel like Kilburn and LeDuc and Dollarton for sure. Qualls is going to be questionable, as I'm watching helicopter view, and Qualls, very good job to avoid the 16. I thought he was going to run right into him for sure. But regardless, let's take you to the restart here at Talladega. Well, after that caution, no drivers out of the race. We still got all 40 cars on the lead lap and on the racetrack, but I got a feeling some of those cars that were involved in that second caution are going to be off the pace. But when we get back to racing, it'll be 9 laps to go, so time is running out for drivers to make big moves to try and get the win here. But Artur Castanha leads the way when we get to the restart. Second is Cody Lamas, third is William Brock, fourth Seth Cole, fifth is Charles Belding, sixth is Scott Roverston, seventh Daniel DK, eighth Keith Miller Jr., ninth Ryan Acosta, 10th Jonathan Zorleen. 11th Riley Henry, 12th Joey Parkhill, 13th Dylan Poteet, 14th Daniel Voiles, 15th Ricky Karaman, 16th Dylan Young, 17th Charles Sanford, 18th Dylan Jacobs, 19th Kyle Matthews, 20th Zachary Fitzwater. 21st is Alyssa Drayson, 22nd Cole Deaver, 23rd Jay Jefferson, 24th Michael Norman, 25th Hannah Klein, 26th is Jordan Forbes, 27th Carson Gum, 28th Quentin Moore, 29th Henry Sanford, 30th is Matt McIntyre, 31st is Jesse Turner, 32nd Rafael Fireblade, 33rd Laney Marino, 34th Melissa Alexander, 35th Rafael LeDuc, 36th Lisa Nelson, 37th Jessica Shelton, 38th James Qualls, 39th Chris Dollarton, and then 40th is Caleb Kilburn. It'll be 9 laps to go when we take the green flag for the restart. Pace car pulling into pit road now. As I said, time is running out for drivers to try and make some last strides to get to the lead. But Artur Castanha looking to get his, I'm not sure if he won a race back in a previous season or not, but if not, he's going for win number 1 in his entire career, and that restart, he didn't really quite get going right there. Cody Lamas was able to get right to his back bumper before they got to turn 1. But he still hangs on to the lead for now. Let me go to the back of the field and see who all is slow. Yeah, Dollarton I thought for sure was going to be the big one off the pace. Meanwhile, it looks like Kilburn, Qualls, and LeDuc still up to speed, it looks like. But these drivers are trying to get in line in hopes of staying within the pack and contending. I think they'll form up together eventually. It takes about a lap or two for cars that are a little bit scattered but still in the draft to get into the pack. Meanwhile, Charles Belding led at the line, But here comes Daniel DK. Like, I keep talking about DK because I'm just so impressed with how he's been performing in his first ever starts in NR 2003 competition, Marvel Studios competition. Second in the standings, 70 points behind James Qualls, and Qualls is in the back of the field right now, and now DK's gonna take the lead, and if he were to win this race, and Qualls finishes in the back, that will be a huge points difference going into Bristol on Friday. DK in that DK Army Ford out of DK Army Racing, although he left the bottom lane open, as now here comes Keith Miller Jr. with a big push from Ryan Acosta to get to the lead for himself, as Keith Miller Jr. is a single-car team this season. Doesn't have teammates this season like he did back in Season 9, as I'm looking around, and yeah, Qualls actually... A lot of these cars that were in that wreck have lost the draft, so it's 35 cars up here in the pack, so looks like unless another caution comes out, Shelton, Kilburn, Qualls, LeDuc, and Dollarton will be the bottom 5, and Qualls finishing bottom 5, that's going to make a huge difference in the standings after today if things were to stand right now. Acosta leads, but now Dylan Poteet, who we haven't talked about all day, who moved, or actually is in the top 30, but he's barely in the top 30 coming into this race. Only 10 points ahead of Seth Cole coming in. He's trying to maintain himself into the top 30 in the standings so he could be locked in for Bristol on Friday. At least at the line, he was in good shape to make it happen, but now Daniel Voiles back to the front as he's got his teammate Carson Gum slowly reeling him in. Carson, who fell to third in points after a rather lackluster run at Atlanta back on Monday. He wants to try and get back into the points lead, and this would be huge if he can get a good run. He could get the points lead back, considering how quick the point standings can change on the flip of a coin. But now here comes Matt McIntyre, who comes in 8th in the standings. He wants to be able to gain as many points as possible. Less than 5 laps to go here at Talladega, and drivers are really trying to form up and work together to get up here to the front. Matt McIntyre leads, but he's got the Horseman Racing teammates of Hannah Klein and Ricky Karaman right there behind him, and now they're going to try and work together on the bottom to try and get up to the front. And then in between Karaman and teammate Rafael Fireblade, you got Jesse Turner in the mix. But Turner's not had a very good start to the season. He's just barely hanging in the top 30. But if he can come through with a good run today, that'll be huge. Hannah Klein had the lead, but now Ricky Karaman is going to lead at the line with that push from teammate Rafael Fireblade. But now Fireblade wants to get to the front for himself. Less than 4 to go here in the Aaron's 499, and things are getting really dicey. And how about some of those cars that were stuck in the back of the field before that second caution? Like Melissa Alexander, Lisa Nelson, and Laney Marino, they're now up here in contention for the win. So they ought to thank their lucky stars that caution came out when it did, and now they're up here possible in contention to win here today. But right now, Rafael Fireblade hanging on to the lead, and actually he was in that 3-car group before that caution came out. So all 4 of them up here, Fireblade, Alexander, Nelson, and Marino, although they are going to catch the slow car of Chris Dollarton, and he's going to make a huge difference in all this. Oh, wow, Marino and Nelson in the tandem is going to pull away from the rest of the pack. I don't know if that'll last long once they can try and get around the 83 of Dollarton eventually. I don't know how long that'll last. But Lisa Nelson, Laney Marino went in a tandem and avoided the 83, and now look at the gap they have over the pack. But there's still plenty of time for that pack of cars to catch back up. Although that inside lane was getting held up big time by the 83, and they're just hoping to get the 83 out of their way in order to salvage something. But Laney Marino going to lead at the line. It's going to be 2 laps to go, but Lisa Nelson's getting a run on the bottom, and here comes that pack. Look how quickly they caught back up. Goes to show you the power of running in a group of cars. But Lisa Nelson hanging on to the top spot for now. Let me go back to find the 83 of Dollarton. He is still holding up guys like Quentin Moore and company. Yeah, a lot of drivers are not going to be happy with that 83 car for holding them up like that. But back up at the front, now Henry Sanford has the race lead. As things continue to just change on a whim, as we're getting ready to get to the white flag here at Talladega, and drivers still going for moves. Here comes Cole Deaver with a run, with that push from Daniel Voiles. He's going to get a run to the inside. White flag is out. Cole Deaver, who's still searching for his first win of the season. How big would it be if he could win here at Talladega? At the track, his idol, Dale Earnhardt, has 10 victories at. All he's got to do is just hold off everybody and stay there. Oh, but he left the bottom open, as here comes Daniel Voiles with a push from Kyle Matthews. Daniel Voiles, who's been kind of in and out of the front of the field all day long, he's looking for his first win of the season. But man, he's got a lot of hungry drivers that could change the complexity of the race on a whim. And there it goes. Here comes Kyle Matthews. Big push from Carson Gum. It's going to be a drag race, but no, it's not. Checkered flag. Kyle Matthews wins the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Made the move in the tri-oval. Carson Gum giving him the big push. And Kyle Matthews gets his first win of the season. And what a rebound after wrecking out at Atlanta on Monday. Comes back here at Talladega and gets another win added to his resume. What a job by Kyle Matthews. Came out of nowhere in the end. Made the move in the tri-oval. Managed to keep somebody behind him to get that momentum push. And he gets win number 1 of the season. But let's look at the rest of the results. Carson Gum with a great second place finish. That's going to be huge in the standings. He could take the points lead over heading into Bristol on Friday. Jonathan Zorling with a much-needed solid performance in third. Daniel Voiles, great run in the 4th position, but he came close to winning, but he just didn't block enough, and is going to come through with a 4th place run. And then Jay Jefferson continuing some momentum on his side, finishing in a strong 5th place. Charles Belding with a great run in the 6th position. That's going to no doubt put him in the top 10 in the standings. Alyssa Drayson, solid performance in 7th. That's going to keep her momentum alive. Cole Deaver, man, he had it on the backstretch, but just did not block that inside lane. But still another top 10 run in the 8th spot. William Brock finishing with a great run in 9th. And then Artur Castanha rounding out the top 10 in 10th. Then there's your top 20, your top 30, and the bottom 5 for this week: points leader James Qualls, Raphael LeDuc, Jessica Shelton, Caleb Kilburn, and Chris Dollarton. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at Talladega Superspeedway for the Aaron's 499. Next race, it'll be the last race of the first of 2 Southeastern swings as we head to Bristol for the Food City 500. But until then, here is Kyle Matthews' victory burnout, as well as the point standings heading into Bristol. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.